الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly the way He deserves to be praised. We ask Allah to exalt, dimension, and grant peace and send His blessings and salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters in faith, ahlan wa sahlan, become. Last week we were discussing the very hot topic pertaining to the belief of Ahl-us-Sunnah wal-Jamaa'ah in regards to the believers seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah and seeing Allah Azza wa Jal in general in the life to come. And we had reached a point where we highlighted the opposition that Ahl-us-Sunnah wal-Jamaa'ah had to face from the Jahmites, Mu'tazilites, Ash'arites, and the likes in regards to denying the fact that this is the case, and they use different type of evidences, dubious evidences nevertheless, and we will see how to respond to them from the position and the paradigm of the people of Sunnah and the Jama'ah. And so I believe the last paragraph we read was وَخَالَفَهُمْ فِي ذَلِكَ طَوَائِفٌ مِنْ أَهْلِ التَّعْطِيلِ مِنَ الْجَهْمِيَّةِ وَالْمُعْتَزِلَةِ وَالْأَشْعَرِ وَغَيْرِهِمْ استدلوا بأدلة سمعية متشابهة وأدلة عقلية متداعية. أما الأدلة السمعية, what is the first textual evidence that they use to prove supposedly that you cannot see Allah Azza wa Jal in the life to come? فالأول قوله تعالى ولما جاء موسى لميقاتنا وكلمه ربه قال رب أرني أنظر إليك قال لن تراني ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا وخر موسى صعقا. And when Musa came at the time and place appointed by us, and his Lord spoke to him, he said, "O my Lord, show me yourself." Musa said to Allah, "Show me yourself, that I may look upon you." I.e., I may look at you. Allah said, "You cannot see me, but look upon the mountain. If it stands still in its place, then you shall see me." So when his Lord appeared to the mountain, he made it collapse to dust, and Musa fell down unconscious. ووجه الدلالة أن لن للنفي المؤبد والنفي خبر وخبر الله تعالى صدق لا يدخله النسخ. The point of evidence that they used from this ayah is that it denotes permanent negation. It denotes permanent negation. And that is a type of that negation. When you negate something, it's a type of information. It's a khabar. And the information which comes from Allah is truthful and is not subject to abrogation. It is not subject to abrogation. So this is how they looked at it. The Shaykh rahimahullah said, وَالرَّدُّ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ وُجُوهٍ. Bismillah. Refuting them can be done from a number of angles. الأول منع كون لن للنفي المؤبد لأنه مجرد دعوة. First of all, the whole idea that len negates or denotes or implies permanent negation is just a claim. It's just a claim. First, we deny that this is the case. قال ابن مالك في الكافية ابن مالك said in the كافية ومن رأى النفي بلن مؤبدا فقوله اردد وسواه فاعضده. And whoever, if you hear someone say that len, and ومن رأى النفي, whoever sees that len denotes permanent negation, his statement reject, and anything other than that فاعضده, hold on it with your molar teeth. Number one. So Ibn Malik basically in his this discussion on the Arabic language and the breakdown of the Arabic language, he denied that this len denotes or implies permanent negation. الثاني أن موسى عليه الصلاة والسلام لم يطلب من الله الرؤية في الآخرة. The second thing is that Musa did not request from Allah to see him in the life to come. وإنما طلب رؤية حاضرة. He wanted to see Allah at that moment, at that time. لقوله أرني أنظر إليك, allow me to look at you. أي الآن meaning now. فقال الله تعالى لن تراني يعني لن تستطيع أن تراني الآن. Allah said you will not see me, as in you cannot see me now. ثم ضرب الله تعالى له مثلا بالجبل. Then Allah struck the similitude of the mountain. حيث تجلى الله تعالى له فجعله دكا. والله عز وجل revealed himself to the mountain and he turned it into dust. فقال ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني. Look at the mountain. If it remains in its place, you will see me. فلما رأى موسى ما حصل للجبل. When Musa saw what happened to the mountain, علم أنه هو لا طاقة له برؤية الله. He himself knew that he has no power, no ability, no endurance to be able to look at Allah, no strength to look at Allah. وَخَرَّ صَاعِقًا لِهَوْلِ مَا رَأَى. And he felt unconscious because of the greatness of what he had seen. Hawl is like when something is terrifying, something like is mind-blowing. It was so mind-blowing that he fell unconscious. وَنَحْنُ نَقُولُ, we say, إِنَّ رُؤْيَةَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي الدُّنْيَا مُسْتَحِيلَةٌ. We say seeing Allah Azza wa Jal in this dunya is impossible. لأن الحالة البشرية لا تستطيع تحمل رؤية الله عز وجل. رؤية الله عز وجل. Because the human condition is unable to bear seeing Allah Azza wa Jal. كيف? How will it be able to do so? How will it be able to do so? وقد قال النبي صلى الله وسلم عن ربي عز وجل حجابه النور لو كشفه لأحرقت سبحات وجهه ما انتهى إليه بصره من خلقه. How? While the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said that his veil is the light. If he uncovers it, then the sublime nature of Allah's face will burn. It will burn as far as the sight reaches from among His creation. The sublime nature of Allah's face will burn everything. So His veil is the light. وَأَمَّا رُؤْيَةُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي الْآخِرَةِ فَمُمْكِنَةٌ. As for seeing Allah Azza wa Jal in the life to come, then that is possible. لأن الناس في ذلك اليوم يكونون في عالم آخر تختلف فيه أحوالهم عن حال في الدنيا. Because the people on that day will be in a world different than their world. They'll be in a condition different than the condition that they're in this world. The affairs of the life to come are incomparable to the affairs of the worldly life. كما يعلم ذلك من نصوص الكتاب والسنة. As this is known already to everybody from the textual evidences from the book and the sunnah. فما يجري للناس في عرصات القيامة وفي مقرهم في دار النعيم والجحيم. فيما يجري in regards to the things that will happen to the people on the various stages of the resurrection and in their abode, whether in the hellfire or in Jannah, whether in Jannah or the hellfire. We know that so many things apply on that day that don't apply today. How are the people going to stay for 50,000 years under a sun which is only 1 mile away? 1 mile away over their heads. People will be drowning in their own sweat and perspiration, yet nobody will die. Nobody will die on Yawm al-Qiyamah from the severity of the event. Today, if something like this will happen in our worldly life, everybody will die. Everybody will die. Nobody will stay alive. Nobody can endure. Nobody can endure. Nobody can survive. So the matter, how do people stay in the hellfire, burning in the hellfire, a'udhu billah, day after day, month after month, year after year without dying? That doesn't happen. Now you burn somebody, they're going to die. So the whole idea, the whole reality of the life to come is not similar to the reality of the dunya. Therefore, the fact that we cannot see Allah in this dunya is because we are in this worldly life. We cannot, the human condition cannot bear it. It does not mean that we won't be able to see Allah Azza wa Jalla in the life to come. So that whole idea that the Ash'ari and the Mu'tazila brought forth is so ludicrous and silly that it could easily be refuted, as you have seen. And we're not even done yet. This is just like a couple of perspectives. There's more. Bismillah. Al-Wajhu al-Thalith, the third perspective. أن يقال, that it is said, استحالة رؤية الله في الآخرة عند المنكرين له مبنية على أن إثباتها يتضمن نقصا في حق الله تعالى. the impossibility of seeing Allah in the life to come, according to those deniers, is actually based on a foundation where to them affirming seeing Allah constitutes a deficiency regarding Allah Azza wa Jal. To them, this is a deficiency and a weakness and a defect in regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كما يعللون نفيهم بذلك, as they claim the justification for their denial. وحينئذ يكون سؤال موسى لربه الرؤيا دائرا بين الجهل بما يجب لله ويستحيل في حقه أو الاعتداء في دعائه حين طلب من الله ما لا يليق به إن كان عالما بأن ذلك مستحيل في حق الله. الله أكبر. And then according to them, that renders the question that Musa asked in regards to wanting to see his Lord, it has to be either based on his ignorance, about what is rightful for Allah or what is impossible regarding Allah, or we have to say that this is a transgression. It's a transgression in the dua of Musa when he asked of Allah that which doesn't befit his majesty, while he knows that this is impossible regarding Allah, being able to see him. وحينئذ يكون هؤلاء النافون أعلم من موسى. If this is the case, that will make those deniers more knowledgeable than Musa. فيما يجب لله تعالى ويستحيل في حقه, regarding what is obligatory regarding Allah and what is impossible regarding him. وهذا غاية الضلال, and this is the epitome of misguidance. Allahu Akbar. Because if they're saying that seeing Allah in the life to come necessitates imperfection in Allah, and if this is their logic, that makes Musa alayhi salam, when asking to see Allah, either hasha li Musa alayhi salam, either he's ignorant of what is okay, what is not okay, or he knows and he doesn't care, he still made the dua. And we know that this is al-i'tidaa fi dua is a big deal. Transgression in dua is a big deal. This is why we tell our fellow brothers and sisters in Islam, you may not take the matters of making dua to the dead, disbelievers, a light matter. You cannot say rest in peace for some non-Muslim who passes away. Nor can you make dua for a relative of yours that you know died upon shirk, or you know that they died upon a religion other than Islam. Because you're transgressing in your dua. When Allah Azza wa Jal already told you not to make dua, Allah told you that He will not have mercy on them, then you want to set aside Allah's decision and Allah's decree, and you want to make dua in spite of that. This is ill manners. This is ill manners with Allah Azza wa Jal. It's lack of adab with Allah. So you take in the matter of saying rest in peace lightly every time some celebrity dies, or some NBA or basketball or football or some star dies. People want to show sympathy and empathy and on the whole shebang, and they want to say rest in peace. So brother, what's the big deal? I just said it. I really don't mean it. What do you mean you just said you really don't mean it? You know what rest in peace means? And basically you're in Jannah. The only peace in the life to come, ya akhwan, is paradise. There's no other peace when you pass away. There is no other peace when you pass away. So when you say rest in peace, you're asking Allah to allow him to rest in peace, or you're talking to him, and you're talking to a dead man. Whichever way you try to interpret it, you're misguided. If you say, no, I'm talking to the guy, I'm saying to him, rest in peace. Well, you're talking to a dead man, and he's waiting for you to tell him to rest in peace. He was going to rest in the fire. Then when he said, thanks a lot, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was going in the wrong direction. Had you not said rest in peace, you saved me. Ish majnoon ant? Majnoon ant? Ish bakant? Set that aside. The only thing left is you making dua to Allah. You're going to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to let them rest in peace, when Allah Azza wa Jal told you they will Jahannam wa bi'sa al-masir. Wallah al-Azim, human beings are wild, man. And you try to reason with these Muslims, and they get us. You go into a long debate. Now you see then Musa alayhi salam, if he knew that it's impossible to see Allah, then how would he transgress in the dua and require and ask Allah of that which subhanahu wa ta'ala told him is not going to happen? Capish? وبهذا الوجه يتبين أنه في الآية دليلا عليهم لا دليل لهم. And with this we understand that this ayah is actually evidence against them as opposed to evidence for them, as opposed to an evidence for them. وهكذا كل دليل من الكتاب والسنة الصحيحة يستدل به على باطل أو نفي حق فسيكون دليلا على من أورده لا دليلا له. And similarly, every evidence from the Quran and the authentic Sunnah that is being used to support falsehood or to deny the truth will turn around and become an evidence upon the one who brought it, evidence against him, not an evidence for him. Not an evidence for him. And that is absolutely beautiful. الدليل الثاني لنفاة رؤية الله تعالى. The second evidence that those who deny seeing Allah use. قوله تعالى لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار وهو اللطيف الخبير. No vision can grasp him, but his grasp is over all vision. He is the most subtle and courteous, the well-width of all things. والرد عليهم أن الآية فيها نفي الإدراك. The refutation against them is that this ayah denies grasp, the grasp. والرؤية لا تستلزم الإدراك. And seeing does not necessitate grasping. ألا ترى أن الرجل يرى الشمس ولا يحيط بها إدراكا. Do you not see that the person is able, a man is able to see the sun, but he cannot grasp it or encompass it in his grasp? Can't really be looking at the sun, you know, like right there and having that full-fledged vision, because your eyes are going to go bad. They're going to go boo-boo. But you can still see the sun. So there's a difference between الرؤية and grasping. You see? فإذا أثبتنا أن الله تعالى يرى. If we affirm that Allah Azza wa Jal is seen, لم يلزم أن يكون يدرك بهذه الرؤية. It doesn't mean that Allah Azza wa Jal is going to be grasped with that vision of ours. لأن الإدراك أخص من مطلق الرؤية, because grasping is way more specific than the generality of just seeing. ولهذا نقول, therefore we say, إن نفي الإدراك يدل على وجود أصل الرؤية. Rather, we say the fact that grasping is negated, that in and of itself is an evidence for the existence of the vision or seeing. لأن النفي أخص يدل على وجود الأعم. لأن نفي الأخص يدل على وجود الأعم. Because negating the more specific indicates the presence of the more general. ولو كان الأعم منتفيا لوجب نفيه. And had that which is more general been negated, then it would have been obligatory to negate it. وقيل لا تراه الأبصار لأن نفيه يقتضي نفي الأخص. So it said the vision cannot see him. وقيل لا تراه الأبصار. It would have been said the vision cannot capture him. The vision cannot capture him. It wouldn't have said لا تدركه الأبصار. لا تراه الأبصار. لأن نفي يقتضي نفي الأخص. But you understand? So basically what we're saying here is, look, there's when you deny that which is specific, then you're automatically denying that which is general. Or when you deny something which is specific, it doesn't mean that you're denying that which is general. When you deny that which is general, you're automatically denying whatever specifics may come from that general. So if I say, okay, let's say I'm going to go to Dammam. And in Dammam, there's a beach and there's a skate park. So if I say I didn't go to the skate park in Dammam, I now denied the specific. Does that mean that I denied going to Dammam altogether? Or does that mean that I denied going to the beach in Dammam? No. So denying that which is specific does not mean that I'm denying what? The general. If I say I didn't go to Dammam, Is it possible that I went to the skate park in Dammam or the beach in Dammam if I didn't go to Dammam in the first place? No, it's impossible. Why? Because denying that which is general leaves absolutely no specifics, because those are denied by default. Capish? You understand? So now when we say, if you were to say the vision cannot grasp him, when you say لا تدرك الأبصار, it cannot grasp him, it doesn't mean it cannot see him. But if you say it cannot see him, that means the grasp is gone by default. Inshallah, you understand. ولأنه نعم لأن النفي يقتضي نفي الأخص, because denying it necessitates denying that which is more specific, ولا العكس, and not the other way around. ولأنه, and because لو كان الأعم منفيا أو منتفيا, had the more general been denied or negated, لكان نفي الأخص إبهاما وتلبيسا, then negating that which is more specific will be just confusing. It will just be confusing. ينزه عنه كلام الله عز وجل. That which is the speech of Allah عز وجل is elevated above such nonsense. Meaning there will be no point in Allah saying لا تدرك الأبصار if the vision was already also not going to be able to see him. If the seeing wasn't possible, then there will be no point in Allah specifying al-idrak. You understand? Because then Allah Azza wa Jal is giving us information that is ambiguous, that doesn't make any sense, and the speech of Allah is above such imperfection and such confusion. وعلى هذا يكون في الآية دليل عليهم لا دليل لهم. Again, in this ayah also is an evidence against them, not an evidence for them. عجيب الله. وأما أدلة نفاة الرؤية العقلية. As for the evidences that the deniers, the intellectual evidence that they use, فقالوا, they turn around and said, لو كان الله يرى, had Allah Azza wa Jal, if Allah is to be seen, لزم أن يكون جسما. This means that Allah Azza wa Jal is a physical. فليكن ذلك. So, and being physical, wait, where was I? نعم لازم والجسم ممتنع الله تعالى, and being physical is something that is impossible for Allah. لأنه يستلزم التشبيه والتمثيل, because that necessitates now likening Allah Azza wa Jal to His creation and resembling Allah to His creation. This necessitates that we liken Allah Azza wa Jal to His creation. تمام? What was it? تمثيل and comparing. والرد عليهم, the refutation against that is to say, أنه إن كان يلزم من رؤية الله تعالى أن يكون جسما. We say that if Allah Azza wa Jal, if Allah is to be seen, if this necessitates that Allah Azza wa Jal is the physical, فليكن ذلك, so let that be, so be it. لكننا نعلم علم اليقين أنه لا يماثل أجسام المخلوقين. But we know for certainty that it does not resemble the physicals of the creation. لأن الله تعالى يقول ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. There's nothing like unto him, and he is the all-seeing, all-hearing. You understand? So if your issue is affirming that Allah Azza wa Jal has a physical essence, and that's what's troubling you, and you think that Allah cannot be seen unless we affirm that He has a physical essence, we say, so be it. If that's your issue, let us affirm that Allah has a physical essence. However, the physical essence of Allah, we already know is not like His creation because of the ayah. Just like we say Allah has a life, not like our life. Allah has vision, not like our vision. Allah has hearing, not like our hearing. Allah has power, not like our, just like we've already done with everything else. We've already gone through everything else where we affirmed that there are things that we share in that sense, in the ultimate sense. We share them with Allah Azza wa Jal, but the nature of those qualities are completely different between ours and Allah's. And therefore, according to the same principle which we've been establishing for a year now, more than a year, for many years from way back, that okay, what's your problem? Unless when you think of a physical, you're forced to think of a human being with arms and legs and exactly like him, then you got a problem. Then you have a problem in likening Allah to His creation. That's not the problem of Ahl-us-Sunnah wal-Jamaa'ah. Ahl-us-Sunnah wal-Jamaa'ah have no problem with that. You got a problem, homeboy. You're the one who's trying to affirm to Allah Azza wa Jal that which resembles humans, and we've already established that laysa kamithli shay, there's nothing like unto him. So quit it. على أن القول بالجسم نفيا وإثباتا مما أحدثه المتكلمون. That said, the whole discussion about the physicality, whether in negation or in affirmation, is what was brought about by the people of Kalam, the philosophers. وَلَيْسَ فِي الْكِتَابِ وَالسُّنَّةِ إِثْبَاتِ وَلَا فِي. In the Qur'an and the Sunnah, we have nothing to affirm it or negate it. That's why we actually hold back. This is just for the sake of arguing with them so we can deliver the point home. But the position we hold, if there's nothing in the Qur'an and the Sunnah which affirms or negate, then we neither affirm nor negate. We just be quiet. خلاص, we believe in it as is. وَقَدْ أَجَابَ النُّفَاةِ عَنْ أَدِلَّةِ أَهْلِ الْإِثْبَاتِ بِأَجْوِبَةٍ بَارِدَةٍ. And deniers reply to the evidences of the people of affirmation, which is us, with cold responses. فَحَرَّفُوهَا تَحْرِيفًا لَا يَخْفَى عَلَى أَحَدٍ. They distorted it in a way that cannot be hidden from anybody. وَلَيْسَ هَذَا مَوْضِعُ ذِكْرِهَا وَهِيَ مَذْكُورَةٌ فِي الْكُتُبِ الْمُطَوَّلَةِ. This is not the time to go over that lengthy discussion, because that discussion is actually, it's addressed in those, huge, long books, basically books with many volumes that discuss the subject matter in detail. ما نستفيده من الناحية المسلكية من هذه الآيات. What is our behavioral benefit that we deduce from these ayat? أما في مسألة الرؤية فما أعظم أثرها على الاتجاه المسلكي. As for the concept of seeing Allah, then how tremendous and great is its effect on our behavior. لأن الإنسان إذا وجد أن غاية ما يصل إليه من الثواب هو النظر إلى وجه الله تعالى إلى وجه الله. If the human thinks that the destination that he will reach from the reward of Allah Azza wa Jal is to look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كانت الدنيا كلها رقيصة عنده. The whole world will become cheap in his eyes, insignificant. وكل شيء يرخص عنده في جانب الوصول إلى رؤية الله عز وجل. And everything will become small and diminished in his sight if it's going to lead to the gazing and looking at Allah Azza wa Jal. لأنها غاية كل طالب ومنتهى المطالب. Because it is the end result, it is the destination of every requester, and it is what every request should be about. It is the end and the final destination of every request. فإذا علمت أنك سوف ترى ربك عيانا بالبصر. If you know that you will see your Lord with your vision, فوالله لا تساوي الدنيا عندك شيء. This whole world will not be equal to anything in your eyes. The dunya comes ahlan wa sahlan. The dunya goes Allahu Akbar, walhamdulillah, wassalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Yallah, let it go. You will not care much about the dunya. And that is not the attitude of the people that don't think about the akhirah, don't think about accountability, don't think about seeing Allah Azza wa Jal. Their whole concern is the dunya and how to capitalize on it and how to invest in it and how to, their whole effort is put towards the dunya and no thought about the akhirah. While the believer's main purpose and objective is the akhirah, and while he's at it, he's taking care of business and managing the dunya, which is not wrong at all. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيا. Allah says in the Quran, don't forget your portion of the dunya. You have a portion that you need to utilize. But it shouldn't enter the heart, it should always be in the hands. فَكُلُّ الدُّنْيَا لَيْسَتْ بِشَيْءٍ. The whole world, the whole dunya, this worldly life of ours is nothing. لأن النظر إلى وجه الله هو الثمرة التي يتسابق فيها المتسابقون. Because looking at the face of Allah is that fruit that the racers will race towards. ويسعى إليه يسعون. And those who strive will strive towards. وهي غاية المرام من كل شيء. And it is again the most important aspect and the greatest desire to attain out of everything. فإذا علمت هذا, if you know that, هل تسعى إلى الوصول إلى ذلك أم لا? Will you strive to reach that or not? Will you strive to reach that or not? والجواب نعم. The answer is نعم. أسعى إلى الوصول إلى ذلك بدون تردد. I will strive to reach that without any reluctance or hesitation. وإنكار الرؤية في الحقيقة حرمان عظيم. The truth of the matter is, denying the vision or seeing Allah Azza wa Jal is a great deprivation. لكن الإيمان بها يسوق الإنسان سوقا عظيما إلى الوصول إلى هذه الغاية. However, believing in that will drive the person in a great way to reach that destination. فهو يسير ولله الحمد. فهو يسير, it is easy, and all praise to Allah. فالدين كله يسر. The entire religion is nothing but ease and facilitation. حتى إذا وجد الحرج تيسر الدين. Even if difficulty comes around, the religion becomes easy. فأصله ميسر. The religion, it's in its fundamental state, is eased and facilitated. وإذا وجد الحرج تيسر ثانية. And if there's more difficulty, then the deen will become easy once again. وإذا لم يمكن القيام به أبدا سقط. To the point that if you cannot do something at all, it falls off. It is removed. The obligation is removed. If you're in it, سقط يعني it's no longer expected of you. سقط عنك الواجب, meaning that obligation has been removed from you if you're unable to do it. For example, right now we have Udhiyah. You have to offer a sacrificial animal for Eid al-Adha. And if you don't have the money, سقط عنك. It's no longer obligatory upon you. You understand? That's how easy our religion is. فلا واجب مع العجز. There's never an obligation with incapability. ولا حرام مع الضرورة. And there's no haram when there's necessity. There's no haram, there's nothing prohibited when there is a necessity. In the case of الضرورات تبيح المحظورات, as the principle goes, necessities allow the prohibitions. Not, of course, in a general sense. There has to be an understanding behind it, but nevertheless, in certain cases or in many cases, if there's a necessity, then you're no longer guilty before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, how many pages we have left? I think we're almost done. قال المؤلف رحمه الله: وهذا الباب في كتاب الله كثير ومن تدبر القرآن طالبا الهدى تبين له طريق الحق. And the author said, and this idea, this chapter in the book of Allah is abundant. And whoever reflects on the Quran seeking guidance, then he will be able تبين له, he will see طريق الحق, the path of the truth. وقول هذا الباب إشارة إلى باب الأسماء والصفات, meaning the topic of the names and attributes of Allah. قوله في كتاب الله كثير وذلك ما من آية من كتاب الله إلا وتجد فيها غالبا اسما من أسماء الله. Meaning the names and attributes of Allah are often in the book of Allah. That's why the Shaykh said, you will not find an ayah from the book of Allah except that you will find often one of the names of Allah. أو فعلا من أفعاله, or an action from Allah's actions. أو حكما من أحكامه, or a ruling from Allah's rulings. بل لو شئت لقلت, rather if you wish you could say, كل آية في كتاب الله فهي صفة من صفات الله. Every ayah in the book of Allah is an attribute from the attributes of Allah. لأن القرآن الكريم كلام الله عز وجل, because the noble Quran is the speech of Allah عز وجل. فكل آية من فهي صفة من صفات الله عز وجل. Every ayah of the Quran is actually an attribute from the attributes of Allah. وقوله من تدبر القرآن تدبر شيء معناه التفكر فيه. Reflecting, when you reflect on something, meaning you think thoroughly about it. كأن الإنسان يستدبره مرة ويستقبله مرة, as if you're facing it one time and you're turning around the other time. So you're basically looking at the thing from two different angles. So you're basically encompassing it in thought. فهو يكرر اللفظ ليفهم المعنى. So you repeat the word in order to understand the meaning. You repeat it more than once. فالذي يتدبر القرآن بهذا الفعل, whoever reflects on the Quran with this action, وأما النية فهي أن يكون طالبا الهدى منه. But the intention while reflecting on the Quran is to seek guidance from the Quran. فليس قصده بتدبر القرآن أن تصل لقوله. He does not look at the Quran and reflect on it in order to find something to support his position. أو يتخذ منه مجادلة بالباطل, or he uses it in order to argue in falsehood. ولكن قصده طلب الحق, but his intention is to seek the truth. فإنه سوف تكون النتيجة قول المؤلف تبين له طريق الحق. Then the result will be, as the author said, he will be guided to the path of the truth. وما أعظمها من نتيجة, and what an excellent result that is. لكنها مسبوقة بأمرين, but it is preceded by two matters. التدبر, reflection, وحسن النية, and good intention. بأن يكون الإنسان طالبا للهدى من القرآن, that the person is seeking guidance from the Quran, فحينئذ يتبين له طريق الحق, then and only then he will be guided to the path of the truth. والدليل على ذلك عدة آيات. The evidence for that are a number of آيات. منها قول الله تبارك وتعالى وأنزلنا إليك الذكر لتبين للناس ما نزل إليهم, and we have also sent down onto you the reminder and the advice that you may explain clearly to men what is sent down to them. Another ayah, قال تعالى كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب. A book we have sent down upon you, blessed, so they may reflect on its ayat, and those of intellect will take a reminder. وقال تعالى أفلم يدبروا القول أم جاءهم ما لم يأت آباءهم الأولين. Have they not pondered over the word, or has there come to them what has not come to their fathers of old? وقال تعالى وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. And we indeed have made the Quran easy to understand and remember, then is there any that will remember? والآيات في هذا كثيرة تدل على أن من تدبر القرآن لكن بهذه النية وهي طلب الهدى منه لابد أن يصل إلى النتيجة وهي تبين طريق الحق. And the ayat regarding this are many that indicate that whoever reflects on the Quran with the niyyah, with the intention of seeking guidance, it is inevitable that he will reach that result, and that result is that he will be guided to the path of truth. وَأَمَّا مَنْ تَدَبَّرَ الْقُرْآنَ لِيَضْرِبَ بَعْضَهُ بِبَعْضٍ. As for the one who reflects on the Quran in order to find contradictions and confuse the matter, وَلِيُجَادِلْ بِالْبَاطِلِ, and so that he may argue with falsehood, وَلِيَنْصُرْ قَوْلًا, he may aid and support his position and his stance, كَمَا يُوجَدُ عِنْدَ أَهْلِ الْبِدْعِ وَأَهْلِ الزَّيْغِ, like it is popular among the people of innovation, the people of deviation. فَإِنَّهُ يَعْمَى عَنِ الْحَقِّ وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, he will be blinded from the truth, and we seek refuge with Allah. لأن الله تعالى يقول, Allah Azza wa Jal says, هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن أم الكتاب وأخر متشابهات فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله والراسخون في العلم, until the end. It is he who has sent down to you the book. In it are ayat that are entirely clear. They are the foundations of the book, and others that are not entirely clear. They're ambiguous. So as for those in whose hearts there's a deviation, they follow that which is not entirely clear thereof, seeking al-fitna, trials and tribulations, and seeking for its hidden meanings. But none knows its hidden meanings save Allah and those who are firmly grounded in knowledge. على تقدير أما أي وأما الراسخون في العلم, meaning as for the people who are grounded in knowledge, فيقولون آمنا به كل من عند ربنا, we believed in it, all of it is from our Lord. وإذا قالوا هذا القول, if they say that statement, فسيهتدون إلى بيان هذا المتشابه, they will be guided to explain those ambiguous matters. ثم قال وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب, only the people of understanding and the people of intellect will benefit and remember from this. وقال تعالى قل هو للذين آمنوا هدى وشفاء والذين لا يؤمنون في آذانهم وقر وهو عليهم عمى أولئك ينادون من مكان بعيد. Say it is for those who believe a guide and a healing, and as for those who disbelieve there is heaviness in their ears and it is blindness for them. They are those who are called from a place far away. And that basically explains and concludes, that explains the condition of many of the people that you deal with today in the circle of da'wah among the people of innovation. They will also cite the Quran. So when you come, for example, and you do when you enjoin what is good and forbid what is evil, right? You try to do al-amr bil ma'ruf and al-munkar. Somebody tells you, Ya akhi, la ikraha fi din. Brother, there's no compulsion in the religion. There's no compulsion in the religion. طيب, this is a person who, what? Who read this ayah, who reflected on this ayah with what intention? With the intention to be guided? Absolutely not. With the intention to use it as to support his view and as means of confusing the Quran. And this ayah would be considered a mutashabih. What is the muhkam in this regard? كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. You are the best nation ever produced to people. You enjoin what is good, you forbid what is evil. And Luqman said to his son, Ya bunayya aqim as-salata wa'mur bil-ma'rufi wa nahy 'anil munkar. Oh my son, establish the salah, enjoin what is good and forbid what is evil. So how are you going to use a general ayah, no compulsion in the religion, to deny all these other ayat and all these ahadith that specifically tell you to enjoin the good and forbid the evil? You understand? So that's why the Shaykh was highlighting the importance of reflecting on the Quran, but with the intention to be guided through the Quran and seeking the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal and doing the actual reflection. Then and only then will be guided. And that concludes the first volume of the Arabic version of the book. And bi'idhnillahi al-kareem al-aziz al-hakeem, insha'Allah ta'ala, next week we will deal and we will open up the second PDF, which is al-juz' al-thani min sharh al-Aqeedah-Al-Waasitiyyah Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. So we'll leave that till next week and we will see what kind of questions you have with us today. The scholars who say that niqab is not obligatory, do they permit men to look at a non-mahram woman's face without any legitimate reason? No, they do not. The fact that a woman does not have to cover her face, that's a ruling concerning her. That has nothing to do with the ruling concerning the men who were told, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze. So the ruling of the man on his own is to lower his gaze. Whether the woman is fully covered, uncovered, whatever her situation may be, that's her issue. His job is to lower his gaze, even if she's wearing niqab. That doesn't allow you to look at a woman wearing niqab, by the way. If you look at a woman wearing niqab, you still that a man is supposed to lower his gaze at all cases, at all times. You're only allowed the first accidental look, which is unavoidable. After that, you have to lower the gaze. Tamam? Can I email you to get your number in private? If no, then how can I get it without any hackers taking it to hack? Well, I don't know, bro. That's a tough one. That is a tough one, yeah, Arctic. So look, if you look hard enough, you'll be able to get my contact online. Just be smart. If you could choose one surah and one hadith that are most beloved to you, which one would you choose? I would choose Surah Al-Saffat, and I would choose a hadith of Prophet ﷺ, Al-mar'u ma'man ahab. The person will be with the one whom he loves. What is your opinion on Ali Dawah? Ali Dawah is a brother with good intentions, but no tools. He lacks the proper tools, in my opinion, to give da'wah. Especially at his collaborations with people are sad, and his latest guests are even sadder. And you know, I've heard him discuss matters with Muhammad Hijab and others that just things didn't click at all and don't make any sense. May Allah reward him for his intentions. I don't want to say anything bad, but yani, I don't think it's I don't know. I'm not buying the whole thing. I've seen good stuff and I've seen bad stuff. Allah musta'an. May Allah reward him for his intentions nevertheless. I'm a left-hander. Can I sacrifice the goat with my left hand? I believe so. I don't know of any evidence that says that you have to use your right, bro. If you're left-handed, you're going to hurt the animal. If you're left-handed and you try to use your right hand and you're not comfortable with the right hand, you might injure the animal. Go ahead, ya Shaykh. MashaAllah, you're going to slaughter the animal yourself? What a beast. Is the punishment of the grave only spiritual or is it also physical? It's both physical and spiritual. When do doubts become kufr? When you entertain them. When you entertain them. Otherwise, if you get a doubt and you seek refuge with Allah and you dismiss it and move on with your life, you're fine. Once you start thinking about them and giving them attention and stuff like that, then you're in the danger zone. Can I pray istikhara for the same matter multiple times, or do I stop after doing it once? Either once or 3 times. Either once or 3 times. 3 times because we know the Prophet ﷺ, when he would make dua, he would repeat it 3 times. And I believe it was Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah who said that you may do istikhara 3 times based on the idea that you make in dua 3 times like the Prophet ﷺ did. The other opinion is that you do it only once. I don't know of anything that allows you to do 2 or more than 3, either 1 or 3. More than that, there's nothing from the Sunnah which supports it. Now, how to advise Muslims carrying the England flag in cars, shops, and wearing it? Wallahi, it's a sad situation, yani. If football, and hey, don't get me wrong, I love football, I play football, I watch football. But if my admiration of a team is going to lead me to violate the deen of Allah, then may that team be destroyed. Personally, any club or any country that has a flag and the flag has a cross, I'm against that team ala tul. I'm automatically against them. I hate Barcelona because they have a cross right there in their flag and their team logo, whatever you call it. That's just me. Because nothing is more important than the deen of Allah. Nothing is more important than the deen of Allah. So you have to know where to draw the line. It's one thing to like sports and appreciate sports and appreciate. It's another thing now that overrides the boundaries of Allah Azza wa Jal, where I pay no attention to what Allah Azza wa Jal had revealed, and I'm worried about a team. No, haram to carry a flag with a cross. It's a cross, ya Jama'ah. Ya Jama'ah, Switzerland, Denmark, England, all these countries, they don't have a plus sign. It's not like if you ask them, what is this on the flag? They say, oh, this is plus, minus, multiplication, division. They tell you this is a cross, ad-drasak, ad-dras abuk, gad kida. They're happy that it's a flag, it's a cross. It's on their flag. You go and be stupid and say, oh, I didn't see, where's the flag? The flag is in your face, ya sheikh. Flag with the cross, I mean, is as big as your head. You're going to walk around and supporting a cross because you support England as a football team who play horribly anyways? Sheesh. Yeah, I know the people in the UK are tripping. How to deal with waswas about Aqeedah? By not having waswas anymore. Who are the Sururis? Sururiya. Go on Islam QA and look it up, Habibi. Can I reject a sister for not accepting polygyny? What do you mean, can you reject a sister for not accepting polygyny? Meaning, that's your first wife, you want to reject your existing first wife, or you want to take on a second wife, and a second wife doesn't want to be in a polygynous relationship, then what the heck is going on in the first place? I mean, does she not know that you're married? I don't know. The question is ambiguous. Can I join the congregational dua my local imam makes after every fard salah? No, you may not. You may pack your stuff and leave and do your adhkar on the way out. Subhanallah, 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 alhamdulillah, 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 Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That's what you're going to be doing. You're definitely not going to be doing no congregational dua with a bid'ah, reprehensible innovation that the Prophet ﷺ never practiced. And these people want to add to the deen what Allah Azza wa Jal did not reveal. And Allah perfected the religion, and they're making it, they're imperfecting their execution of the religion. Those silly Berelvis. So does entertaining the doubt immediately constitute kufr? I did not say that. I did not. Look, it depends. If you entertain in the doubt, yes, and you start believing it, then well, of course. Because one of the 7 conditions of La ilaha illallah, one of the 7 conditions of La ilaha illallah is al-yaqeen. Al-yaqeen, which negates shak, certainty, which negates doubt. There's no doubt about the matter of the deen. There's no doubt about the deen of Allah. Absolutely no doubt. You get a little doubt, squish it, smash it, move on. But to sit there and think, oh Allah, is it possible? Maybe there's no akhirah. Maybe Allah doesn't exist. Maybe what if the Prophet? What are you talking about, man? Khalas, man, you're swimming in kufr. What am I supposed to do if my older sister wedding was a bomb of muharramat? Though I was not physically at the wedding, I still video called her and smiled and said, Mabruk. Sinful? It's tough, wallah. No, I mean, if you said Mabruk to her in general, then that's fine. But if you video called her during the wedding, as though you're endorsing what's going on, that is a little problematic. Yet it's tough to advise her on her wedding day. Sister, mashallah, all this haram around you, may Allah bless. It's probably going to end the relationship between the two of you. So it's a tough situation, man. You should have spoken to her beforehand. Now, next. If I buy a video game, then will I be sitting for wasting money? Not necessarily. Because video games fall under lawful. Video games are under mubah. Depending on the video game, it could become halal or haram. Depending on the type of video game, it becomes, otherwise it's just mubah. Like lights, like television, like anything you buy. What you wind up doing with it or what type it is what dictates whether it's halal or haram. But the thing in itself is a lawful thing. So no, buying a video game is lawful. Now, if you buy a game about kufr and shirk and magic, then you got a problem. That's what will make it haram. That's what will make it wasting money, not the game in and of itself. Now, does same go for the Red Cross related to health, etc.? Yeah, I would say the same thing. And in the Arab world, they have Al-Hilal-ul-Ahmar, the Red Crescent. Yeah, wallah, we have the Red Crescent in Lebanon to to negate and go against and compete with the Red Cross. So when a person dies or is about to die, the two ambulances will come. One with the Red Cross, one with the Red Crescent. They fight over him, then he dies on the spot, and then we realize that this is nonsense. طيب. نورت شاشة الكمبيوتر يا باشا. العب يا كبير عشان دي الشاشة اللي بتاعتك full HD plus يا ريس. What do you think about cross-cultural marriage? Knock yourself out. I am in a cross-cultural marriage. It's all gravy, baby. Make sure you speak the same language, though. You don't want to have no common language between the two of you where you use sign language to get along. Yeah, that can only get you so far. You can maybe explain if you want, fried eggs. You could go like this. She understands you want fried eggs. But if you want to plan your future with your kids, that's not going to go far, What? Then the relationship will be over. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Oh. Is it even allowed to watch football? Because I've heard from the ulama that it's haram. It could be haram, akhi. It could be haram. I know that the scholars have differed on it. It depends on what you're watching in football. Look, let me break it down for you. It's a lot of elements that need to be taken into consideration. So why is football haram? Well, football could be haram if it's going to distract you from salah and other obligations. If not, then it's still under mubah. It could be haram because it will have people exposed, their aura exposed. Nowadays, for the most part, the shorts are actually around the knee, which brings another discussion. That is something that I'm also, dealing with nowadays. Is the navel to the knee discussion, where is the actual aura? Shaykh al Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, believe it or not, and I think it's the popular Hanbali madhab, the aura does not include the knee nor the navel. It's what's between the knee and the navel. Pay attention now. The aura, that which has to be covered, is what is between the knee and the navel. If this is the case, then actually even football players, if their knee is showing but their thigh is covered, then you have no problem. We could also say, okay, that's similar to many things in the world where you lower your gaze. The obligation you have, if a person they're showing the player in slow motion and his thigh is right there, don't look at his thigh, whether male or female, just don't look at them. Thirdly, when they have the audience, suddenly they show you some women from the audience, as soon as you see them, you have to lower the gaze. There's usually no music during a football game, so there's no music over there. So more or less, you could actually manage to watch a football game without being involved in haram, but you have an obligation to do. That's all I'm going to say. You have a job to lower the gaze at certain times and look at things that are okay and not look at things that are not okay. If you just watch loosely without any restrictions and that distracts you from worship of Allah, then it's haram. If not, then it's not an issue, inshallah. Tamam? Naam. Is it haram to support France football team? I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because why are you supporting the French team? You mean because France did whatever it did against the Muslims? In the French team, there's Paul Pogba, who's a Muslim, and there used to be Frank Ribéry, who's also a Muslim. And you know, the French team has some Muslims actually among the players. Does the French team as players support the French government and the decision they made? Not necessarily. So your support should be just appreciating a team that plays good. I don't think anybody should be a die-hard fan or supporter of any team. My opinion, my humble opinion, and yes, my humble opinion, I don't think anybody should be a die-hard fan of any team. In fact, I just go with whoever. I don't even have a team that I support all the time. I literally go with any team that's playing good. Like in basketball, every year I have a new team that's my favorite team. If that team is playing good, more power to you, I'm with them. I don't have this, I cry if they lose and I'm happy if they win. It's just a sport, man. Nothing is that important. So yeah, just don't give the sports more attention and more love than they deserve. Now, if I pray for blessings for the person I'm jealous of, does that expiate my sin of being jealous? No, it does not. That will protect them, inshallah, from an evil eye that you may hit them with for being jealous. Yes, because that's the remedy for seeing something that you like and asking Allah to bless it. But in terms of the disease of the heart, no, you need to remove that jealousy from your heart. You may not be jealous of someone, unless what you mean by jealous is you wish to have the same without their bounty going away from them, no problem. But jealousy by definition in Islamic context, the jealousy is أن تريدي أن تذهب النعمة عن أخيك وتكون لك. You want that bounty to be removed from that person and given to you. That's jealousy. Tamam? As for wishing to have the same, no problem. Now, the aura of men are revealed in football. Is it okay to watch it? I just explained that, yeah, Suhail. Have you noticed the Free Palestine thing and protests have all gone after a week? Of course, man. Of course. What do you think? And now that everybody got upset and they got mad at us for telling the Muslims to go back to their religion, and then we will go for maybe months, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years. Then there will be another attack. Then we will do the same thing. Go on the streets, blah, 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 and then nothing changes. So we gave long-term solution. People don't like it. They want short-term solutions. And then we're back to square one. Allah musta'an. Can we look down at our feet during salah to adjust them? For a moment, yes. For a moment to adjust them. But you're not going to be staring at your feet in the salah the whole time thinking you have some beautiful feet or something. You're supposed to look at the place of sujood. But looking for a moment, if you're praying next to someone and you want to make sure that the ankle's with the ankle, or you want to make sure you're standing properly, of course, no problem. But that's a moment, not like a long gaze. Is shahada sufficient to come back to Islam after kufr, or is tawbah required? The shahada comes after tawbah. A tawbah is required, of course. A tawbah is required. Otherwise, if you make the same, if you make a shahada and you haven't repented from your belief, then you're going to leave Islam just as you entered it again. You're going to leave another 20 seconds later, 10 seconds later. No, you have to repent and give the shahada. Alhamdulillah. Can you talk about the red pill Muslim community? And what do you think about the Fresh and Fit podcast? And Andrew, I have no idea about any of the things that you mentioned in this question. I don't know what the red pill is. I don't know what this podcast is. And I don't know who Andrew Tate is. What am I allowed to say to my new sisters-in-law? What are you allowed to say? My new sisters-in-law? Salam alaikum. That's what you're allowed to say. You're allowed to say salam alaikum. How much time specifically it's considered wasting time? I'm a bit confused on this. Well, again, the whatever will distract you from the acts of worship that are obligatory. If they're not distracting you from obligatory acts of worship, then you're just basically we're all investing in the wrong thing. It would be better to invest in an act of worship, voluntary act of worship that will bring about more reward. But we're just missing out on that. It's not haram, but you're missing out on more good deeds by doing something that is not going to bring you any good deeds. Tamam? You have anything say about breakups and heartbroken and depression? Breakups? With who? Your spouse? I'm not familiar with breakups happening between spouses. I think it's called divorce. And if you mean breakups, you're having a boyfriend, girlfriend type of situation, then I have a lot to say. Why were you in that relationship in the first place? Of course you're going to be depressed afterwards. Because it's not pleasing to Allah. Watch my lectures. I spoke about this in many different lectures. I don't know which ones. Next. What team do you support in the Copa America? I am Brazilian, Habibi. I support Brazil. As in, I'm not with Argentina. Why? Because Argentina has Messi. And Messi has some, he's been kind to the Jews. And this is my logic. My logic is very special. Messi has been kind to the Jews, and he was seen somewhere in the Zionist state in front of the wall, the Wailing Wall, and things of this nature. And because he plays for Barcelona, which has a cross, I've X'd out Messi from my list of people that I appreciate. Simple as that. He's with Argentina. Now the whole Argentinian team is going to hell, in my opinion. Going to hell as in the football, not in the life to come. It's none of my business. And so I'm with Brazil because Brazil is not as bad, in my opinion, as Argentina in the sense. That said, both of them are worth a mosquito wing to me. Yani I watch because I play sport. I play football, so I watch in order to enjoy the skills. I'm enjoying the skills. I wouldn't spit. I wouldn't even spit on Neymar, even if he begged me. If Neymar stood in the middle of the street and said, Abu Musa, please, one spit, I will say sorry. Not worthy my spit, in my opinion, because if a person is not a Muslim, he's worth nothing to me, he's worth nothing. His glamour and his fame and his money and all this and all these women, all this, throw it in the trash. So don't think I have any obsession with any single human being on earth. Wallah, this is me. If I love basketball, if I saw Michael Jordan, I wouldn't even give him a fist bump. You know, like, okay, Jordan, I know you're a great player, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's a disbeliever. That's just black and white to me, black and white. He's a disbeliever. I see a believer, I put him on my head. I see a disbeliever, he's worth nothing to me. So I'm saying this so you will not think I'm this hardcore fan. I support Brazil against Argentina, but at the end of the day, all of them are nothing to me. I appreciate the sport because I play football. Simple. Now, football making money from gambling. Okay, well, they make money. They gamble on everything, Habibi. Everyone gambles everywhere. That doesn't affect what the football game is about. I'm watching the people playing sport. I'm not watching the gambling behind it. Is it okay to feel empathy for animals when we see them being slaughtered? You mean sympathy. You don't mean empathy. Empathy is when you put yourself in the position of the thing that you feel sympathy towards. And if you feel that you're being slaughtered at that point, that's a little too much. Yeah, bid'ah X. So you feel sympathy towards animals. Yeah, it's okay. But hey, this is the law of Allah and this is good for you and it's good for them. So, chop and keep it moving, baby. Don't camels feel pain when we cut their neck and they bleed for around 30 to 60 seconds? Allahu Alam, I've never been a slaughtered camel in my life, so I cannot tell you for a fact how a camel feels, nor can you tell me how a camel feels. But let's say this is the case. Let's say you let this animal live. Okay, you don't slaughter the camel, you let it live. And then it's going to die of old age. Don't you think it might actually suffer for a month or two before it dies of old age and sickness and disease? Yes. So which is easier, 30 or 60 seconds or a month of suffering and then death? Can an older woman shave her head whether she has the intention to get married again or not? What? No. Why would an older woman shave her head? Forget about marriage right now. No one cares about the second part of the question. No. Have you ever seen a bald woman? First of all, I have. What was the name? Who she became a Muslim actually? Sean O'Connor, whatever her name was, the one who used to sing that song. Nothing compares. She became Muslim. She's still singing, unfortunately, but at least she became a Muslim now. She used to shave it. Man, that's just horrible. Horrible. No, it's haram for a woman to shave her head no matter what the reasons are. Even if it's difficult to manage for her. No, let her be difficult. She cannot shave her head. Unless she has a health condition. She has a health condition and she has instruction from a medical doctor that she must shave, otherwise it will affect her health and so on and so forth. There's like ramifications for having hair. Then she gets a dedicated fatwa from a sheikh based on that medical position or that medical advice that she received. But generally speaking, you can never say that a woman is okay to shave her head, whether she's old or young. Pardon my French, brother, but is it okay in Islam to artificially impregnate cows, goats for fast breeding? I don't know, Akhi, but I don't see any French in that question. Can I lie in order to speak and attend Jum'ah? Parents won't let me. No, you may not. Does farming animals harm the environment? Man, who cares? Who cares if farming animals harms the environment? Not farming animals also harms the environment, and cars harm the environment, and factories harm the environment. If we're going to use this argument, then while you stop farming animals, this is all vegan logic and vegan stupidity, right? Then at the same time, you should also remove all industries, all factories, all cars, all burning, get rid of everything all at once. If you're going to allow those other things to come, and now you're tripping over the animals, then you need to take a hike with a bike. Do you live in KSA? Why, ya Osama? Are you coming for me? I can give you my home address if you want. What is the best way to... Yeah, Sheikh, do I look like a butcher to you? Wallah al-Azim, Wallah, I'm not in a meat shop, ya Baba. Goats, cows, camel. I just thought of camel. Khalas, ya Sheikh. Khalas. I don't want to eat meat anymore. I barely had pancakes for breakfast. Khalas, ya bid'ah. Please, ask a professional. I'm not a professional. All international football match involved with gambling, man, women mixing, Islam, QS, okay, I understand. I explained that there are differences of opinion among the scholars. And so, what do you mean man and women mixing? You mean in the crowd? Are you watching the crowd or you watching the soccer game? Where is the mixing in the soccer game? There are 11 male players against 11 male players. There's no mixing over there. If they're going to show you the crowd every now and then, I told you lower the gaze. And by the same logic, there's nothing that you cannot go to the mall anymore. Why? Because there are men and women mixing in the mall. You cannot go in the street anymore. Why? Because there are men and women mixing in the street. Are you supposed to do something? You lower the gaze. That's your job. That's your job. Come on, man. I understand the other opinion, but I'm trying to explain. Okay, that's it. I've never wished there was more coffee in this cup than today. Red pill is the toxic masculinity ideology, basically feminism, but for men. And a lot of Muslim men are following it recently. And the podcast called Fresh and Fit are making it popular with Muslims. I need to check it out. I don't know what that is. I don't know what toxic masculinity is. But masculinity? Okay, whatever. I guess, I hope that's not coming from a feminist. Because usually feminists are the ones who believe that if a man just behaves like a man, that he's being, misogynist, narcissist, madri ish, and they come up with all these terms. So I would have to check this out further before we can delve into this deeper. Thank you. Can I get my questions answered? It's very important. Yeah, Baba, I'm not a mufti, ya bid'ah. Ya bid'ah X. Ya bid'ah X. We are X bid'ah. I don't know which one it is. I am not a mufti. I only answer according to whatever information I have or information that I have from the scholars that I've read in Arabic. I try to convey it to you in English. I'm not a qualified mufti to give you and to answer your very complex animalistic questions. That is beyond me. I gave you what I have. How to advise close friends on haram relationships? By learning. When you learn the evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah, then you can give adequate advice. It's about being gentle and kind and sweet and knowing the evidences. You can watch my lecture, The Fine Line. You can get some of the evidences that you need from that lecture. Yeah, Abu Musab, the soccer game has mixing when the referees are of different gender. I am yet to see a single game. Personally, I've never seen a game with a female referee. I've only seen it in football highlights. When you watch highlights on YouTube, like compilation of fails, then I've seen male and female. An actual game, wallahi, I've never seen a female referee, from what I remember. From what I remember. And let's say that, how often are you watching the referee? Ya akhi, Allah yarda alayk. Anta, you watching the referee play football, or you watching the players play football? I already explained, if you're watching a football game and they brought a referee, female, do you look at her or do you lower the gaze? You lower the gaze. End of story. Yeah, guys, listen, man, because I don't want to twist things. I am not telling you to watch football. Please, if you don't watch football, bravo, congratulations, keep going. I'm not here to defend the opinion and champion the opinion that you must watch football. No, not at all. I'm simply telling you what I believe based on evidences. If you feel otherwise, just like taking pictures, I believe it's okay to take pictures. You don't think it's okay to take pictures, don't take my opinion. Throw my opinion in the trash. Wallah. Get my opinion, open your dustbin, throw my opinion in the trash. Do what you believe is pleasing to Allah. Do what you believe will get you closer to Allah. If you have all these problems with football and soccer, don't watch. Alhamdulillah, jazakallahu khairan. But I believe that it's things that there are things within it that you can avoid, and the 98% of the actual thing is halal. The 2% haram that you avoid does not make it haram. That's just the way I see it. You don't agree? No problem. I'm not mad at you, but don't be mad at me. Nah. Or you can actually be mad at me. It's okay. But don't think I'm telling you to watch. Does the sport include motorsports? Yeah, of course it includes motorsports. Motorsports are probably maybe the most halal. They're just going around in a vicious cycle forever. Khalas, this is too long. We need to stop. This is the last question. Can you tell how we can do hijrah to Jeddah or Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia. Oh. And where we need to think about to go, and where we need to think about to go there? طيب على كل حال, bro, you can do hijrah by getting a job. That's really the only way I'm familiar with. Or if you're super rich, then you can do that. You could buy I don't know, a citizenship, not a citizenship. There's ways around it, but the ideal way for the average human being is you land a job in the kingdom, whether Jeddah or Riyadh or Mecca or Dammam or Khobar, anywhere. You land the job, you get hired, you go work over there, and you hope that you can stay as long as possible. That's as good as it gets. There's no way for you to really stay here forever. Now we try to stretch the stay as much as Allah Azza wa Jal allows, depending on our situation, and we hope and we assume good about Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And if it ever comes to an end, it comes to an end. Now, okay, I think this is enough for the day. No, it's okay, Faris. ما في مشكلة. You're on Instagram and you're over here, and when I open my door, I'm also gonna see you outside my house, inshallah. And that's what's left. I know it sounds silly, but how to stop meditative daydreaming? Meaning in Malaysia, I suffer a lot from it. I literally waste hours a day just by it. I don't know what meditative. I don't want to search it up, but it sounds like you think about Malaysia all the time. Or the Maldives. You're daydreaming about the Maldives. No, whatever it is, you're daydreaming. Let's just focus on the word daydreaming. I mean, come on. Why are you wasting your time with something that is not going to get you anywhere? Because it's called daydreaming. It's a dream. And so it's not going to get you to your destination. Oh, we got the search engine over here giving us results. What? I'm looking at the comments. Why private chat, guys? You make me click so many things. Describes a condition when a person regularly experiences danger. That's what I said. I figured it out already, guys. Come on. Al-Muhim, ya Shalina. Sister, don't waste your time with this nonsense. That time that you spend daydreaming, do something realistic with it. Do something physical, something that you could benefit from. Daydreams in general are mirage. They're a mirage. And I know you're intelligent enough, inshallah ta'ala, to realize that's not going to get you anywhere. And so just, have some strength and discipline and persevere and get over it. Making mindless dhikr is still valid? No, you should make mindful dhikr so that you can benefit from it. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.